The fiscal cliff, obviously going to be a huge issue now that President Obama is reelected. He doesn't have to put in a new team. He doesn't have to do a transition. They get right to it. What does it mean for you? And also, another interesting one is what's going to happen with the Federal Reserve. Randall Kroszner, former Federal Reserve governor himself, is here with us to talk about all this. Randall, appreciate you taking the time. Okay, President Obama reelected another 4 years. He's a man who's in office. He's got his team. Everything's in place. Does the fiscal cliff become an issue right now?
It certainly is, and I think we're seeing that manifest in the unease in the stock market today. Some people thought that, oh, well, just once you get the uncertainty of the election out of the way, we can move ahead. But I don't think the election has helped to clarify in any way how the fiscal cliff is going to be dealt with. You've got a divided Congress, and basically you've got the same constellation of parties and interests that were there before that didn't make any progress. And the president hasn't articulated a way out, and I think that's why the markets are a little wary.
Yeah. Any hope that a second-term president, who obviously doesn't have any more political games to play, there's no more elections for him, any hope that a second-term president can sort of rise above that fray and really kind of direct this?
Well, we certainly saw that kind of thing in Clinton's second term. The Senate and House went to the Republicans. Newt Gingrich, who is not known for being Mr. Bipartisan, was actually able to be Mr. Bipartisan and work with the Clinton administration, and they did a lot of very good reforms. I think with the divided Congress and the history that the president has with the Congress, it's a much tougher row to hoe. Also, we're in a very different economic situation. It's easier to get things done when the economy is doing well, much harder when it's not doing as well.
Yeah, now you actually are kind of, you're kind of worried about this fiscal cliff, right? I mean, what do you think of the odds? Look, it's November 8th. There's not a lot of time for this. What do you think of the odds that this doesn't get done?
Well, I think it's unlikely that we'll actually go over the cliff. It's possible, but I think what would happen is there'd be some stopgap measures to kick the can down the road. But we can only kick the can down the road so long. There are fundamental issues in the trajectory of our spending, trajectory of our taxes that have to be dealt with. And unfortunately, I think this structure of Congress and the White House is one that's not well suited to try to deal with those longer term issues.
Yeah. You mentioned taxes. Obviously, taxes are a huge part of this, and people are very concerned about taxes. The year ends December 31st. You have to know what your tax bill is going to be. Can they at least take that off the table for us, or are a lot of people going to wake up on January 1st with higher tax bills?
I think people are not going to know. I think it's unlikely that we would go over the cliff and would have this gigantic increase in taxes in every form. Probably what would happen is some will go up, some will not go up. It'll affect people differently. But it's very difficult for individuals to do planning about their expenditures, and especially for firms to think about whether to invest or not. And I think that's a real wariness. This uncertainty is still there, and until we make some progress on that, it's going to be really tough to get firms to invest to create jobs in the U.S.
Right. Now, the current Fed chairman, Ben Bernanke, his term is up in 2014. President Obama will nominate the next Fed chairman. A lot of people say it's not going to be Ben Bernanke. How do you think this election sort of colors what happens with the Federal Reserve, with that chairman seat?
Well, I think it makes it much more likely that the president will, if he chooses not to renominate Chairman Bernanke, that the president would choose someone who is in Chairman Bernanke's mold. And so I think it's likely that the type of policies that we've been seeing lately are likely to continue. I think if you had seen a Romney presidency, you'd have a higher chance of a change, probably not a radical change, but more of a change.